Alright, this is one of our opponents for our 3v3 battle here. Let's go ahead and get into it. Alright, welcome back to another Art of War 3 replay. I'm your host, JEONG SINAH, and today we're going to be showcasing a 3v3 battle. This is going to be an exciting matchup that we got lined up here. Let's go ahead and get into it. I am going with two random allies. One of them is a rank 22 player. That's going to be the blue player. We're going to be facing off against two rank 19 players and rank 21 Hoodwinked. So let's get into it. We got some aggressive early game strategy from the yellow player. Yellow's moving in with coyotes and grenadiers. I'm telling my ally, the green player, to retreat. Blue is trying to get a scout onto Hoodwinked's base. Hoodwinked has a lot of early game units and is dropping some defensive structures. We know that Hoodwinked is going to be going for a proper build, so we'll see how that pans out. My plan is to go for mass aviation with hammer tanks to support. We see there's some infantry coming in, getting the scout onto my base there. And we see green is starting to produce units, and we can see that blue is requesting a scout, which is a great idea. Here comes the yellow player though. Yellow coming in with a huge rush army 6 minutes into the game. Lots of grenadiers and coyotes. Green is in trouble here. Green's forces just got cleaned up. My vertex is going in. We're getting a scout onto green. Green is going for mass armadillos, it looks like. Looks like yellow's only HQ2 at this time, going for the rush. And it looks like red Hoodwinked is going for mass dragonflies. So we can see that the units are now moving into the back of the base here. Yellow trying to see if they can position themselves optimally to take out the green player. This is bad news. We need to come in here and intervene to save the green player. I am starting to try and get some fire assaults out while maneuvering in my hammer tanks to see if we can at least take care of some of the coyotes and dish out whatever damage we can. But I just do not have enough hammer tanks in the area. My vertex is starting to come in for support. Headquarters is going to go down. That's not good. We are losing a headquarters 7 minutes into the game. And it looks like these units here are trying to clean up the base as much as possible. My ally, who's blue, is telling the green player to wait, not to surrender. We're going to try and see if we can save the green player here. This is a tough spot to be in, but blue is starting to roll in some heavy units now. We see Zeus tank and a Torrent. We see the avia factory being upgraded there, so blue is going to try to get some aviation out. So we're slowly getting rid of these units here. A couple fire assaults starting to get into the mix, and this is making a huge difference. We can really clean up the grenadiers nicely, and that is going to allow us to finish off the rush. So we got some reinforcements coming in from the yellow player to scout onto the green player. Here comes the enemy green player though. Armadillos and infantry trying to rush. This is a dumb idea from the green player. I have a rocket tower, fire assaults to deal with the infantry, and 3 vertex. This is not going to work out for the green player at all. I'm going to move my ground troops in as well. I've got hammer tanks and fire assaults along with the vertex. This is the perfect combination to counter this attack from the green player. And green's attack is going to fail miserably. So we're going to clean up the last bits of units there. Green knows that their attack was not destined to go well. They're going to go ahead and retreat. So looks like blue is requesting a scout once again onto Hoodwinked. So I'm going to, in a little bit, send a vertex over. Going to repair my airfield there, and we're going to secure some resources on the battlefield there. So here comes my vertex. We get a scout onto the red player. Let's see red's up to. We see Hoodwinked is still HQ3 at this time, so we have the tech advantage. We are HQ4 at this time. Looks like yellow is HQ3, and looks like green is still HQ3, so we have tech advantage. My ally is starting to go for HQ4 at this time, and looks like it's starting to produce a respectable ground army consisting of Zeus, Torrents, and Typhoons. We can see that I've got hammers, fire assaults, and Typhoons on my side. Here comes Hoodwinked. Hoodwinked launching his first attack here. We see dragonflies, coyotes moving in, infantry, a couple jaguar tanks, and a porcupine. I'm going to send my aviation right over, vertex to support, and I'm going to tell blue to defend the front entrance there. Blue already knows though. Blue's doing a good job starting to move into position to intercept the ground army. So some of the coyotes are in the back, but coyotes are not a big deal. Really the bulk of this army is the dragonflies, so if we can get rid of those dragonflies and the jaguar tanks, this attack will be able to be defended against successfully. Blue is going to lose their airfield. Blue is still trying to produce more units to help with the defense. Red is losing their army pretty quickly here. This is not looking good for the red player. And we are going to be able to defend this attack successfully. Last couple of units here, just a couple coyotes to clean up. Not a problem at all for ground troops to deal with. So, looks like blue is going to be able to start to rebuild, get some more infrastructure out. Blue gets a scout onto the red player because those vertex have to leave the battlefield. Looks like red is starting to transition into a JCP build. Let's see what the green player is up to. I did a scout onto green. Here we go. I've got Thors moving in, and we're going to take out the headquarters and a factory. And now green cannot produce any more units at the moment. So now we're going to start to move in. I've got hammer tanks, fire assault, and typhoons. Here comes the yellow player, though. Yellow's moving in with more grenadiers and coyotes. So this was a poorly timed move on my part. I should have tried to maybe retreat here to help with defense, but now I'm under pressure as I try to pressure the green player. So there's lots of infantry inside my base, trying to see if I can save my infrastructure as much as possible. Meanwhile, this attack against the green player did not go as I hoped. I lost a ton of my ground troops. So now I'm trying to defend against these infantry and coyotes. Getting some fire assault into the mix. That's really helping with the defense, but I am going to lose an airfield. That is going to cost me 4 Thors. That's going to hurt. We got Hawks coming in from the yellow player as well, so we know yellow's starting to transition into some respectable units beyond just tier 1 units. So looks like we're going to be able to fend off this attack successfully. And we can see here that this Hawk is dishing out some damage. We're going to see if we can clean up that Hawk there. We take out the Hawk. We're not going to be able to clean up that second Hawk, though. That second Hawk is going to be able to retreat. So we can see here that blue is assembling a pretty solid, respectable army around that resource container. Meanwhile, I'm just starting to rebuild to get back into the game. Here comes a JCP army from the red player from Hoodwinked. Hoodwinked is moving in to try and capture the resource container, and blue just does not have enough Zeus tanks to counter. There are way too many typhoons in the mix here, so looks like blue is going to have to retreat here. So I'm potentially going to have to send some aviation support. That is a lot of Jaguar tanks. This is a potentially dangerous situation for the blue player. Jaguar is starting to move in onto the blue player's base. I'm going to flag the resource container. I'm going to launch my Thors at that location. Blue is starting to come in with the Vertex for support. Here come my Thors. We're going to score a nice hit onto the container. Direct hit onto the Chameleon army. And the Vertex are going to smash the other Chameleon. Now suddenly Hoodwink's entire army is exposed. Hoodwink does not have enough Porcupines to counter. And the Jaguar tanks are just getting shredded by the Vertex. So we got Vertex from all 3 players coming in. Very nicely done. Looks like Hoodwink is only going to be able to capture 1 resource container for now. And my Vertex are going to snipe another tank there before I'm going to go ahead and retreat the Vertex. I am going to lose 1 Vertex in the process. So I flagged the resource containers. Blue is going to try to recapture those containers. Hoodwink doing a good job microing that 1 tank. Hoodwinked is going to lose the tank though, so 340 resources gained, 220 lost. Not a great trade-off. So here we go. Thor's moving in now. We're going to crush the level 4 factory from the green player. Green cannot produce any units. Green's in trouble. Only has 4 supply centers active. And that's not a lot of armadillos in the mix there. So I'm just continuing to pump out more aviation and vehicles. Here comes the green player. Green coming in to support. Is going to snipe that power plant. So it looks like Green's going to try and take out some infrastructure for the green player. Here we go now. Hammer tanks moving in. Green is forced to use either a common defense boost or an emergency measures boost. This time I have lots of hammer tanks and a shield generator in the mix. And green just does not have anything to defend with except for these armadillos. Armadillos are rapidly getting cleaned up by my ground troops here. So this is not looking good for the green player. And my strategy for this game overall was to really get rid of the green player, turn this into a 3v2 battle, and that way we could have the upper hand. Yellow is coming in with Hawks to try and defend. I'm going to use a gold common attack boost. What we can see here is Hawks just continue to fire here. I've got Thors coming in. We're going to clean up the level 1 factory there and the airfield. we almost cleaned up the factory, so we need to get those hammer tanks over there so we can finish that level 1 factory off. And we were just taking out all of this infrastructure for the green player. So we finish off the factory, nicely done. Now my hammer tanks are going to focus on trying to take out the last bits of infrastructure for this green player. If we can get green out of the game for good, that's going to make this a 3v2, and a 3v2 would be much easier to deal with. Looks like a big JCP army moving for Hoodwinked. Hoodwinked trying to see if he can move in to help his allies out. His allies are just struggling right now. Hoodwinked really trying hard to carry the game right now for his side. My hammer tanks are going to retreat. We've essentially decimated the green player. We're going to use this time to try and rebuild my ground troops here. And here comes a bunch of hawks from the yellow player and the chameleon army. They are launching a combined attack onto my base here, and I'm going to lose the airfield. This is not good. I'm going to throw on a gold air raid boost, and looks like the yellow player is going straight for my other factory. Thor is scoring a direct hit onto the chameleon army from the blue player, but I just do not have enough ground troops. Ooh, this is not looking good. I've lost a second airfield. I'm going to start to lose some more aviation. And these hammer tanks are not supported by a shield generator. They are getting shredded by this JCP army. This is not looking good. I need help. I'm going to flag the entrance to my base, and we're going to see if we can try to hold off here. Chameleons with the Jaguar starting to move in rapidly now to attack me here. Another Thor coming in. Nice hit from the blue player. Gold combat defense boost gets thrown on. Vertex trying to score some hits onto the tanks here. We're trying to produce as many vehicles as possible to really help with defense. Green's coming in to help with the defense as well. Meanwhile, yellow trying to assist Hoodwinked with some grenadiers. I'm going to score a hit there with the Thors there. I don't think I hit that many troops though with the Thors. That was not the greatest hit. Looks like Hoodwinked's army is starting to dwindle, but this is still a sizable army inside the base. Rapidly losing traction though. Thor scores a direct hit. Hoodwinked is just down to a couple Jaguar tanks and 3 porcupines. Meanwhile, blue is trying to counterattack here, but Hoodwinked has a very strong defensive line. Grenadier is starting to move in from the yellow player. And we're trying to see if we can finish off these last couple of Jaguar tanks. I'm probably going to be able to save my headquarters and be able to rebuild, so I'm going to take my time to rebuild. Blue coming in, going to score a nice hit with the Thors on the entrance there, but Hoodwinked is continuing to relentlessly pump out vehicles to defend the front line. So we can see the last bits of Grenadiers trying to destroy that airfield. It's not going to work out. So we can see that blue is starting to run out of units here. Blue is going to have to retreat. Thor's moving in for my side of things. We're going to clean up that factory once again. We need to continue to keep green suppressed. So nicely done there. Now Hoodwinked is trying to counterattack with another JCP army. So we got Zeus tanks and Torrents from the blue player, but blue is outnumbered here. Blue needs to get into a better tactical position here. Blue is trying to reposition their army. Here we go. Thor from the blue player onto the chameleon army. The chameleon army is taking some hits there, and we can see that there's only 5 Jaguar tanks and 1 chameleon in the army. Green is moving some Zeus tanks onto the enemy green player. Meanwhile, I got a Thor there cleaning up a chameleon, and we can see that these Jaguar tanks are not well supported. They're going to get crushed by the Vertex here. Vertex cleaning up the ground army very nicely. This is forcing Hoodwinked to retreat here. Hoodwinked does not have the firepower to keep pushing onto the blue player's base. So we're continuing to just apply heavy pressure onto Hoodwinked there. Hoodwinked is struggling here. Meanwhile, the yellow player coming with mass hawks, trying to clean up my aviation, and is scoring some good hits on the airfield, but it's costing them so much to do it. The hawks are taking so much fire from the Vertex and from the anti-air in my base, and that cost the yellow player all of their hawks. Reed, meanwhile, doing a good job here. Reed's got a handful of Zeus tanks here to just come in and shred the green player's base here. We can see the barracks goes down. We see the Zeus tanks slowly making their way over towards the yellow player's base. And we can see that there's another hit being scored there by some Thors. Just continuing to pressure Hoodwinked. Hoodwinked is really struggling to support his side in this fight here. The Zeus tanks now starting to move in. Vertex coming in for the blue player. Here comes some Hawks trying to help with the defense here. We see yellow trying to move some ground troops in. A couple Hawks coming in. We see a lot of Grenadiers and Coyotes in the mix. We're trying to get rid of the aviation here. Here comes a JCP army from Hoodwinked. Hoodwinked trying to counterattack. Here come my Thors, though. We're just going some nice hits here. We clean up the level 4 factory, level 4 headquarters and an airfield. And Green needs to stop force firing on the headquarters. And here comes the JCP army. JCP moving on to the green player. This is Hoodwinked's last ditch attempt to try and turn the tide of battle here. And I'm going to flag the area. Green's requesting some help there. I'm going to move my hammer tanks into position. Chameleon is running out of energy though. Here comes the Vertex. They shred the Chameleon, and now the red player's army is unprotected. They're just getting shredded by the Vertex. And Hoodwinked is struggling out here. My hammer tanks move in to assist with the defense. And with the Vertex combined with the hammer tanks, this is no problem to defend. Meanwhile, Blue coming in very nicely with a well-timed ground assault supported by a shield generator. Hoodwinked still has some troops for defense and gun towers, but at this point in the game, Hoodwinked has already surrendered. He knows that this game is a lost cause. So Blue is starting to just move in now, trying to destroy the red player. Thor is coming in now. We're going to crush Yellow's headquarters and 2 assault vehicle factories. And with that, that is pretty much good game. Thor is coming in for the blue player as well. They're going to crush a factory. And there we go. So now the rest of this game really is just the 3 Confed players, myself and my 2 allies, just starting to clean up the rest of the Resistance players. Alright, so that's pretty much good game at this point. We can see that Blue's just steadily cleaning up this red player's base. This is a pretty fun 3v3 battle. This was a good experience overall. And it was nice to get a feel for what it's like to have 3 different armies fighting together. So, Thor's coming in. We're going to crush a couple airfields there. Very nicely done. And the rest of this game is going to be just the 3 of us cleaning up the last remnants of the Resistance army. So hopefully you all enjoyed this exciting, fun 3v3 battle. Good luck with your battles, and we'll see you in the next one.